Hi there, it's Nicole Allison here. I am in my home, as you can tell. I wanted to just kind of take you through a quick tutorial of Zoom and how you can use that with some of my resources like my note prints and resources specifically geared towards teletherapy. It's really easy. I am still learning some of these things. I'm used to Zoom, using that for meetings with other SLPs and professionals and things like that. So I'm still learning the student aspect, but there are some really cool features. And it's really easy to use a lot of these no print or even just a lot of PDFs with this kind of platform. So sometimes it's easier, I know, for me to watch somebody go through it. So I'm just going to go through it. If you already know all of this, you might just want to skip or not watch this. But if you are learning, I'll try to kind of guide you through this. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Might not have the answer, but I will try to find the answer for you. So what I did is I installed the Zoom app on my computer, and then I just opened it up and clicked Start New Meeting. So this is where I'm at right now. I'm starting a new meeting. You can invite your students with their login or their email information, so you can do all that. But then down here, I'm going to press share screen, and I'm going to share my desktop. So exactly what I'm looking at on my computer, they will be able to see. So this is my desktop, and you can see all these different buttons that you can, this was the startup, this was the join meeting or start a meeting. You can schedule a meeting, and this is that share screen. So I have a folder over here on my desktop of a lot of my no print materials. So I'm just going to open up my no print leveled intervention for reading comprehension. This is where that is. And there's a few things I wanted to show you. So I'm going to go to page 4 because that is the table of contents. So what is a little bit different about all of my no print resources is they are interactive. So you don't have to do a lot of scrolling. You don't have to do any scrolling, actually. You don't have to find the page number up here and try to go to that. They all have buttons. And so they're going to lead you to those different sites or those different pages based on the button that you click. So this is the table of contents. And if I press this button, answering and asking questions, it's going to go straight to that section. And it's going to start off in the teach section. If I have a student that is maybe a little bit more advanced and they're on level 3, I could press that button and it would take me to level 3. Same with level 2, level 1, any of these are buttons, all of these things that you see. Now, the cool thing about Zoom is I'm going to go up here. If I just raise my mouse up here, you have this annotate button. Now, if I was the one that, if I just wanted to do the annotation, if I just wanted to mark up on my PDF and be the one to control, writing on my PDF, writing on the lesson, doing all that, I could go over to this more, and you can click this disable attendee annotation, which would prevent your students from being able to write on the PDF or write on your screen. So if I want them to do that, I just leave it alone. If I do not want them to write on it, I would disable that. Now, the annotation is really cool on Zoom, I think. You have all these selections. So the mouse is what I have on now that allows me to click all the buttons and everything like that. You can select different things. This is the text, so you can write on the PDF, and I'll show you that. This is the draw, and you have all these different options here. You can make rectangles, can make highlighted rectangles. That's what these things are. This is like a pencil. Here's a marker. So all these really cool things. You can stamp if you just want it really quick and short. You can just stamp it, and that will make a little stamp there. You can highlight. I'm not quite sure what spotlight is. I'll have to look into that. You can erase everything that you do, and then the format changes up all these things. So if you were drawing on it with a pencil or marker, you could change the color up here and also the width. And then if you were typing on it, you could change the font and how big it is and what it looks like. All right, so those are the basic annotation tools. Now I'm going to go, and I'm just going to show you kind of what some of those look like. So if I was in the asking and answering questions portion, I have all every page has 3 buttons on it, all of my no prints. So they always have a back button, a home button, and a next button. And then the back button, as you would guess, would just go to the page previous. The home button is always going to lead you back to that table of contents. And then the next button is going to progress you through the PDF. So it's just going to go to the next page. Okay, so here's a teach page. And then this is interactive. So you would press on these and they would reveal that definition. And for me, I always require my students, even before we start a lot of the tasks, for them to say the meaning, to teach a friend. It could be like a stuffed animal in their home. It could be their little brother in their home or little sister. It's kind of fun. You can switch it up a little bit because they're in their home environment. And to give an example, so they can become the teacher and the expert and things like that. So what you would do is take your little annotation tools. I'm going to use this one for now. It's on blue, you can see. So if they say the meaning, you just highlight right in there. Teach a friend, like that. Okay. If I just wanted to go really quick, I could just stamp it. There you go. Just a little stamp like that, saying that they did it. And I can just erase all of this really easily. I'm going to go back to my mouse. Go to the next page. So it just progresses through. This is another teach page. And then right here, they're having to indicate whether each sentence is a question or an answer. This is level 1. And then here we have our basic who equals a person, what equals a thing, where equals a place. You know the drill, all these fun things. Okay, and then I provide some examples. Here they are having to circle all the possible answers for any question that would begin with who. So again, they take their drawing tool, and this would be one. I think I got them all. So they would just go through and find all the people and what those various people look like, because they look different sometimes, depending. Here's one for what, where, when, and why, and how. Here they are matching those different answers to questions. This is one that I want to show you because this could be a good type one. So who is the story about? They have to make up their own answers for that. What did this person do? Things like that. Here they would have to make up their own questions. The answers are provided. Now they have to make up their own questions. Like what kind of question would they see in order to get that answer? So it kind of switches it. So I'm going to take my text tool, and the answer is, the story is about a boy named Logan. So probably the question is about something like that. Logan went on vacation with his family on July 5th. Something like that. So you can just take that type, and you can, again, adjust the size. Let's do 14. Okay, I don't know what happened there. Okay, you can adjust the size. Logan discovered a clam. So it made it a lot smaller. I really like this, you guys. I really like Zoom. When I was looking into all this, I was like, I love this. I think maybe I will even use this when we go eventually back to school, and you know, this just has all the fun tools. I mean, you can do this on your iPad too and just open up iBooks and things like that, and it has a lot of the annotation tools, but this is just really cool. All right, so what you're doing is you're just navigating through this PDF, and they have the different levels. So, you know, I use this primarily, this one for elementary, but I use it also for middle school. That's why I love this packet, because you can, it lends itself to a lot of grades because it has all those different levels. So I've even used it for some of my middle school students. You can just see how it gets harder. They're having to answer questions then based on text. Here's a compare and contrast. Just gonna go through this. Here's a teach. Again, you would have the compare and contrast. They would have to reveal the definition. There's some wording for compare transitions to just teach them what does that language look like, and also contrast. Graphic organizers. Here they're circling all the transition words that indicate something's being compared and contrasted. Okay, here they are having to indicate whether the sentences are comparing something or contrasting. So here you could get out your little highlighting. I like the thicker line better because I feel like the pencil, I'll show you the pencil here. So let's do blue, comparing is blue. The pencil is just a little bit harder to use because it's so thin. So this one you can just highlight. So that's a compare statement. Compare. I'm just doing this really fast. And then the contrasts are the red. Apparently I need some OT, fine motor skills here. I need an OT, help me. Okay, so that's kind of what they would do there. This is just a level 1. And then can erase. Erase is really pretty quick. Going back to my mouse to navigate through the PDF. Here they're finding those compare and contrast items. They're again highlighting those different sentences. It's just in paragraph form now. This is a level 2. And then by level 3, you give them 2 items and they have to compare and contrast those, either using one of the graphic organizers, or they could just verbally tell you. Right. Going to main idea and summarizing. Remember, you can always press this home button to navigate, or you could just progress through the PDF. So main idea and summary, what it is, giving examples and telling me what that is, some wording, teaching what those words look like, and then how it all comes together. How do we find the main idea, and how do we summarize? Graphic organizers, teaching what the difference is between main idea and summary, having them differentiate the difference between main idea and summary. Just kind of go through some of these. This is where it starts to get, it starts to really break down these tasks. So the first task that I give is I give them a paragraph. I tell them what the main idea is. I'm pointing to it. Main idea is about ladybugs. And then they have to go through and find all the sentences that do not have anything to do with that main idea. So I'm just going to see here. What could we use? You could use the pencil to cross it out. You could use the highlighting tool. I want to know what this is. Okay. Let's not do that right now. You could do the stamp. That would be a good one. So this would be wasps are typically yellow and are much larger. That would not have anything to do with ladybugs. Here's another sentence, a sentence that has nothing to do with the main idea. And this one talks about frogs, which has nothing to do with the main idea. So you could do it that way. It's kind of cool. Erase. Here now they're crossed out, as you can see, those same sentences. I give the important detail, and then they have to match it to the correct paragraph. So this would be a good one for the pencil. So this important detail is one way ladybugs are helpful is by preying on aphids. That would go to this paragraph. This one would go to this one. Here, up here. There. it does transfer over, so you kind of have to erase it. And then the last task is just for them to write the summary. So now the important details are all in the right order, and then they have to write that summary. By level 3, they're doing all of this themselves. Show you. I give them a paragraph, they're finding the main idea, they're stating an important detail from each paragraph, and then they're writing the summary based off those important details. So it just really breaks it down. Okay. Sequencing and retelling. I'm just going to kind of go through this PDF file. If you feel like you are comfortable with Zoom, feel free. You don't have to watch this whole thing, but if you are interested in this and kind of seeing how this works with your caseload, I'm just going to kind of go through it. So this is sequencing and retelling. This is kind of that teaching page where you teach what those things are. You have them verbally say it while you teach it. Give an example. Here's those transitions, breaking them down, a lot of those sequence transitions, graphic organizers. Here they're circling all the transitions that you would see at the beginning of a story to indicate that something is happening at the beginning of the story, the middle of the story, the end of the story, and happening at the same time. Talking about sequencing. So this is something that kindergartners, that you could work on with kindergartners here. I bet a lot of kindergartners could do this. So first you have a whole apple. Next, someone takes a bite out of it. Last, the apple is eaten. I have a lot of those. Gets a little bit harder with an actual story here, and then pictures, and they have to label which one happens first, next. They just have to label that one. You can change this. Like that. So things like that. Washing the dishes, cleaning his room. Okay, now we're getting into a little bit more difficult tasks. So I absolutely love Aesop's fables. I think that they're great to use in therapy because they're short. They you can do them in a half an hour session, and they have a moral or like a lesson behind them often. So I use a lot of those. The Lion and the Mouse. You would read the story with the student, and then they would sequence these events in the order that it happened on the story. And you can go back to the story if they forget, and then they're going to use those sequencing events to kind of tell the story. So you can go back to those if they need a cue or a reminder. Same with Little Red Riding Hood. This is level 2. By level 3, they are reading a story like The Fox and the Crow, and then they are summarizing it themselves using these transition words. So it just scaffolds it. Like, it provides a lot more support in teaching and visuals in the beginning, and then it kind of lessens that support as the tasks get more difficult. Okay, word meanings in text. This is sort of like context clues, but instead of just giving a sentence, this actually gives a paragraph and some words that either have double meanings like a homophone or figurative language with clues in that paragraph to tell you what that word or phrase means. So I'll kind of give you an example. So here's level 1. I give a paragraph and then some words. So words or phrases, those are in pink. So this word fragile, the clues, don't touch anything glass. All right, so that would mean, and then I give some options. So they could pick, that would mean breakable. Bull in a china shop, Here's the clue. My brother bumped into a shelf and went running down the aisle. So the clue would indicate that phrase means careless. So that's level 1. And then by level 2, no options are given. The clue is still given, but then they have to say what that word or phrase means in their own words. And by level 3, they have to find both the clue and guess what the word means. So collaborated. They would have to find that clue in the paragraph. So you could use your highlighting tool. His parents and some other friends collaborated and chipped in together for all the supplies. That would be a clue here. And then they could type in that box what they think collaborate means. So it's just really easy to use right here. Your student is on the screen. Sometimes, you know, I try not to have, I have very little kids at home. My oldest is 5. So I try not to do a lot of screen time with them. But there is something sometimes that with a screen, it holds their attention more than face to face. So I'm just trying to think positively through this whole experience. You know, I know there'll be some good that comes out of it. And then the last task for this binder is fact and opinion. Kind of tells you what a fact and opinion is. Whew, this might be a good side note here, but this might be a good activity for some coronavirus articles. I think there might be a few little opinions that are mixed in there and trying to be facts. So anyways, off topic, but so fact and opinion, they would have to tell you what facts versus opinions look like, what that language is, the subjective versus the objective language. It's teaching them all of that. Here's a good graphic for fact versus opinions and kind of a flow chart for them to go through. Here they're indicating words that signal objective language. I think this is just so important for kids to learn because we are in the age, I'm going to get on my soapbox here. We are in the age of technology and information overload where there is just so much information out there, right? You guys know this. And so we need to be teaching our children and students how to navigate through this world of everybody feels like they're experts and who to truly believe. That's what's been so difficult sometimes with all of this stuff. Like, who do I truly believe in the news sources and how do I navigate this? It's hard sometimes for us as adults to do this. So I cannot imagine kids. So they need to learn what these words indicate and how to find out objective versus subjective language, fact versus opinion. Anyways, soapbox. I'll continue. So these are statements. They have to indicate whether each statement is a fact or an opinion. And then here it is this is kind of level 2, in a paragraph form. They're going to go through and highlight facts versus opinions using those orange versus blue colors. Very easy here. And then by level 3, you're going to give them, this is kind of cool. This is kind of a cool thing to do on the computer. I was thinking about it. You're going to give them a statement. They're going to formulate an opinion. This would be really cool for middle school students, I think. They're going to formulate an opinion and then go online and kind of find out facts to support why they think the way they think. So is coffee beneficial to your health? I would say yes, but then I need to support why I believe that. So just some really neat things. But this is the leveled intervention for reading comprehension binder. It has all of these skills. It's 165 pages. So it will keep you and your caseload busy for a while. I use it with elementary up to middle school students. And it's just really easy to navigate on the Zoom app. If you have any questions about Zoom or these no print materials, please let me know. I will try my best to answer. If I don't have the answer, I will try to find it out or ask someone that does. I know there are a lot of better technology experts out there than me. And then I also have a leveled intervention for vocabulary and one for grammar that follows the same format. And then I have a few card decks that are no print. So I thought I'd do another video to show you what those look like. If this has been beneficial or helpful, let me know, and I will kind of walk you through some of my other no print activities using the Zoom app as well, so that you can just kind of get an idea for it. But let me know if you've enjoyed this, if this has been helpful, and I'll try to do more of these in the future. All right, everyone have a great day, a great weekend. Bye.